Hey everybody, I'm Dave with Dii. Thanks for tuning in to our live broadcast today. We've got a special guest today, Kataka Gara. She's going to be with us, and she's going to be talking about sound healing and all of her experiences with handpan and all sorts of fun stuff. If you haven't checked in with us before on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe over here on the right-hand side underneath the picture frame. There's like a little red letters that say subscribe. So if you haven't subscribed already, please do so. Also, if you haven't subscribed or liked our Facebook page, we do lots of posts on our Facebook page. So go to our Facebook page at Dave's Island Instruments and like that page. You'll get notifications when we have shows like this and also other things that we're promoting. And also lots of fun little memes and goofy little jokes and stuff. It's lots of fun. So that'd be great to have you there. Let's see. I'm David Beery. I'm the owner of Dave's Island Instruments. I make beautiful handpans like this right here. This is called an RS handpan. It's made out of stainless steel. We make a variety of pans here at Dave's Island Instruments. We're located in Lakewood, California. We also have a website, obviously, that you can check into, davesislandinstruments.com. We shorten it basically to DII. So we do these live broadcasts. Traditionally, we used to have classes in our store here in Lakewood. People would come and we'd have people surrounding each other and having a good time learning all about the handpan. But obviously, now that we're all stuck in our homes, we are now doing these live broadcasts and having classes online. And so traditionally also, since I've been doing this online, normally I've been doing like a little bit of a handpan class showing how to play it, how to get started for the beginners, that sort of thing. But also we have a large audience of people that are very interested in sound healing and how to incorporate pan music and the sounds of the handpan into a sound healing experience and that sort of thing. That's why we brought Kataka with us today. So I'm really excited to introduce her. Kataka, come online. Let's see if we can get Kataka online. Hey. There she is. Awesome. Woo-hoo. Good to see you. Thanks for coming in today.
Good to see you. How are you?
I'm great.
Oh, man, I'm so happy to be here.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, it's really thrilling. So I'm just going to give the audience just a quick rundown of how we met. So I was about a year ago. Kataka, she owns a hang drum, one of the original hang drums from Pan Art in Switzerland. And I guess it went out of tune or something happened to it, got damaged or whatever. So she asked me if I could tune it up a little bit. So I did, which was awesome. So I was able to help her out. And that's when we got our first introduction to each other. And she had some really fascinating stories about how she obtained her first hang drum and all that sort of thing. So Kataka, I was just wondering if you could just kind of give us a little rundown of, first of all, just maybe like a real short bio, and then maybe tell us a little bit about how you got involved with handpans and hang drums right from the start.
Absolutely. So, you know, I've been a musician pretty much all my life, and I was classically trained with piano and cello, and, you know, I got bored. So I self-taught a lot of instruments, like 50
okay.
instruments. And then it's you know, I came down to LA from San Francisco, and a friend of mine was showing me this really unique instrument on YouTube. This is like, I'm not kidding, like 12 years ago. And she told me, this is, you know, you don't tell somebody like me that you can't get something. Okay.
Oh,
because she told me, you're going to have to wait 3 years to get a handpan on a waiting list. And waiting lists were, you know, years ago were notorious. People were so, you know, frustrated because there were so many waiting lists because people were making the handpans by hand. Right.
Yeah.
So I said to her, oh, no, do not tell me I have to wait 3 years. And so I got on the phone, I got on the internet, I did a ton of research. And 3 weeks later, I had my first handpan. It was a Jazz.
Wow.
3 weeks. Yeah, I still have it actually, and I'm gonna play it. Yeah. I'm gonna play it today. So, so basically, since then, I have been playing. I've been performing professionally. I mean, I play a lot of other instruments, but really, my love, you know, is the handpan. Right now, I have, you know, the original hangs, which are from Switzerland. And then 11 months after I got my first one, that first one called me, and he was like, hey, I have a second one. And actually it's a lady up in San Francisco whose, you know, husband passed away. She doesn't want the handpan. And I was like, I flew up there and I bought the second one because it was completely inharmonic, right? It was
Oh,
inharmonic
wow.
to my first one. And so I still have both of those. I still perform with them. And then last year I got a Rav, which is more of a tongue drum. And we can talk more about that. But I play all three of those, and I basically do sound healing with them, where I literally lay the instrument on somebody's body and I play it while I do guided meditation.
Right. Very cool. So it's interesting because when you were talking and explaining your story, you were using the word handpan, but really when you first started looking for a handpan, that term hadn't even been invented yet, I believe. I think it was still, everyone called it the hang drum. That was the only name that people used.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because there was only one technically at that time.
Exactly. So Panart, they're in Switzerland, and they're the ones who invented it in the year 2000. So if anybody's new out there that doesn't know where these instruments come from, so they came from a company called Panart, located in Switzerland. They made steel drums back in the 90s and 80s, and then they transitioned to making handpans. They're the first one that made the hang drum, and that's how it exploded back in the year 2000, in the early 2000s. So yeah, it's amazing that you got your hands on one so quickly.
You know, like I said, don't tell a woman no. You know, if she wants something, she will get it, right? And you know, it's interesting because there's been a lot of like political stuff around the handpans, actually. And I mean, I was just like, I'm not getting involved in that. I just want to have my handpans. I want to do sound healing. I want to heal people with my music and, you know, make beautiful music. So, you know, I've made several albums, and now I have a handpan healing show. Basically, I call it the Sound Healing Show, and it's on YouTube. And, you know, I do every week, I do a new show where I basically lay somebody down on a massage table and I put the handpan on them and I play and I do a guided meditation, and it's super cool.
Yeah, that sounds really wonderful. I was going to say, it's interesting how the handpan has linked itself to some degree to sound healing. I know that I'm really taken by the sound of handpans. I make them day in, day out, and I still love playing them. And I'm just fascinated how that occurs. And I'm kind of wondering, how do you feel about the sound of the handpan? And how do you imagine that it works with sound healing so well? I mean, how do you think it coupled so well with sound healing?
Oh, that's a great question. I'll say, you know, when somebody plays these instruments, and I'm going to get a little woo-woo, okay, on
yeah, go for
and
it.
then
Absolutely.
I'll come back
Make
down
it
to
happen.
earth, okay?
Okay.
So when you play these instruments, first off, what I believe is that, and I've seen this for many years, you know, I've taught handpan, I've performed, I've let people play my handpans when they're like looking at it like a fascinated child. I'm talking about adults, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I believe that this instrument looks so easy to play, and it's so unique looking. It's like, you know, think about it. It looks like a little flying saucer. So it's like, wow. And all of these beautiful beautiful frequencies that are coming out of it. How does it come out of it? Like, you don't have to plug it in, and it just sounds incredible the moment that you play it. Right. So number one, I think that it really taps into our inner child for, you know, you don't have to be like a virtuoso to play this instrument. That's number one. The only thing you really have to do is kind of develop a few little, you know, brain to muscle habits where you know, you kind of got to grow some synapses in your brain to really kind of learn how to use your left hand and your right hand at the same time. Okay. But really, it really brings out a fun little kid in all of us. And the other thing I would say, frequency wise, there's something to be said about when you hear this instrument, and if somebody can play it really well, you can make them cry, you know, because there's something that with the minor notes and the major notes just really evokes emotion. And, you know, this doesn't have a volume on it, right? But what you can do, you can play harder or you can play softer. And depending on, you know, how you play it, people will feel the vibration. And for those that are a little bit more woo-woo, the frequency, okay, is connected to all of the chakras that are in the body. So it is said that we have 7 chakras, main energy sources, and they're in our body, like our third eye, you know, the top of our head, the throat chakra, the heart chakra, and there's a couple others that are down lower, and that the frequencies vibrate at a certain level that kind of open up those areas of the body, relaxing the body, and then helping people kind of have, you know, more of an enlightened state or a relaxed state or a realization as they play or as they listen to the instrument. So that's kind of the woo-woo part. That's the part that I teach, you know, when I'm teaching sound healing. How do you integrate the frequency of the handpan with the intention of wanting to help somebody, like in a container, I would call it, of a healing space. Okay. And what I mean by that is, when I say container, that can be anywhere. So let's say you're sitting in a healing, you know, place, a quiet bedroom, or maybe you're outside in the forest, you know, or in a park. If you play this and you're setting an intention to, you know, help somebody with healing or relaxation, the intention is the healing. The intention is the frequency that you literally, you put that intention in your mind. You're thinking to yourself, I'm going to set this intention that when somebody hears these notes, they'll actually feel it and maybe have a better day, or they will, you know, they'll release their depression, or they'll have a realization that they need in order to elevate their life to a better place. So that's kind of the woo-woo part of it. You know, but it works. I'm telling you, I've been doing this now for almost 13 years. And whenever I do a healing with somebody with these handpans, they're like, oh my gosh, I went to a different world. I went out of my body. I felt like I was dreaming. I had some realizations. And I know it's because what's really happening is that the frequency is distracting the mind so that the subconscious can kind of focus on itself and get clear on things. Okay. So that's what I believe that's happening, is that our, you know, monkey mind that's always going, gets distracted by the pretty music. Okay.
Yeah. No,
and when it gets distracted, then your subconscious can work on stuff. That's what I believe that's happening with sound healing.
We got a quick comment. This is God.
Oh, that's Danielle says there's a quick comment. And by the way, anybody else that's out there, if you want to make any comments in the comments screen, feel free to make comments, and we have people helping us out in the background that we can answer these comments and questions live. So go ahead, Daniel.
Comment is on the screen, but David Beery from San Diego says, funny, Kataka is talking about the inner child. It's the little D who I turned loose on the handpan when I was learning. Good comment. I like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Like the little, for him, it's the little boy. For obviously, it's the little child, the inner child. That is exactly who it is. When we play an instrument and we're playing for just sheer fun, that's who is actually playing it. And in fact, I would even go so far as to say all of our creative, you know, like endeavors, they are literally being like evoked, if you will, by the little kid, the inner kid in us. So and this is another thing I teach with my Reiki and sound healing and to my students, that we actually have, if you think about it, we've got 3 people in us. Okay. And I apologize. My cat is coming in
no problem.
and making an announcement of, you know,
I love it.
I'm going to pick him up. I'm going to bring him up because he's a very big cat.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's
and if he's a part of the show, then he'll go away and be like, okay, I've been a part of the show and now I can, you know, do my thing.
Exactly.
So he's my big he's my big 25-pound monster. So
he's a bundle.
Yeah, he is. So he's about as big as a handpan, honestly, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
hey, cool.
So I was gonna say the concept around this, which I guess it was Dave that mentioned, David or whoever it was that made that comment, is that absolutely right. And if you think about it, we have like kind of 3 ideal people or subconscious people in us, if you want to call it this. And what I do is I call it the inner child, which is the one who is in charge of all of our creativity. And then there's the inner parent. And the inner parent is the one who's actually responsible for making sure that the inner child is taken care of. What I mean by that is that, you know, you're getting proper food, you're getting sleep, you're getting, you know, you're taking good care of yourself. You're making sure that you're, you know, taken care of, period. And then the inner adult is the one that makes sure that we have a roof over our head and we have money in the bank account and that type of thing. So if you can look at your life like that, like, okay, when I'm playing my handpan, okay, Bentley's going to go now. There you go.
Oh, they were just asking, the audience was asking the name. So Bentley.
Oh, Bentley, yeah.
Yeah,
Everybody wanted to know the name of the cat.
Gently Bentley. So anyway, I was just going to say, you know, when you're really in tune with your inner child and you're allowing your child to be, you know, completely in his or her creativity, then you can actually have the balance of having the inner parent take care of that inner child, and then the inner adult take care of, you know, everybody else, so to speak. I mean, I know that there's a lot of different icons in the world and examples of that with certain spiritual or religious, you know, communities. And we're not talking about that right now. Okay. That's only a fable and a myth. And basically it's a metaphor, if you will, for those three different, you know, energies, I'm going to say, in you that you can evoke at appropriate times. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. So on that topic, so I have a really good question for you here, because a lot of people that tune in and watch this broadcast are beginners or beginner musicians even. Maybe sometimes people that are interested in handpan have never even successfully felt like they you know, attempted playing a musical instrument or anything like that. So along the lines of the child and the parent within all of us, when you first started playing handpan and when you see other people first start playing handpan, how do you think that works in learning it? Like, because a lot of adults have a problem. They criticize themselves like constantly, whereas the child, they experience things constantly rather than criticizing themselves, right? Because it's all about the experience. So how do you like work with people and like kind of get them started on something? And do you incorporate those ideas somehow when you get people started, or how does that work?
Yeah, no, that's a great question, because that is the very first issue that every single student has. They start to beat themselves up and compare to somebody who's been playing a handpan for many years, and they get angry at themselves. And I'm going to also say one other thing about what I said about the adult and the parent and the child. We have another part of us, and I call it the saboteur. It's the criticizer. It's the one that kicks our butt and basically makes us feel bad for not being good enough. And I call that part of us the monkey mind or the saboteur. And every time I have a student come to me and I notice that they might not be playing as perfectly as, you know, I can play, right? Like I've had years of developing my brain to my muscle connection so that I can play these, you know, in any way, right? So what I always tell new beginners, it's so important, is that you've got to turn the volume down of the saboteur and allow your inner child to come in and allow yourself to really, really have fun. And even if a sound comes out of the handpan that's not perfect, move on and keep going. And you will, as you practice, you will develop the, you know, brain synapses to the muscle memory, you know, and it will happen. But you can't say, oh gosh, that sounded horrible. That's just so futile. It's so unnecessary, and it completely takes the fun out of playing this amazing magical instrument. So I just want to encourage people, if you want to get better, just like anything else, you've got to practice, right? And, and sometimes, you know, after a time, you will be able to play very beautifully. And then that inner child and the inner adult can appreciate it. Right. And then the saboteur, we turn the volume down of the saboteur. So, and one other thing that I noticed that people do that are beginners is they play it they do two things. They play it as if it's a drum. It's not a drum. Okay. So you're wanting to play lightly, right, with your fingers, and have a very supple wrist, allowing the wrist to kind of almost bounce off the instrument. Okay.
Right.
That's one thing. The other thing is people stop breathing because they are focusing so much.
I tell them that all the time. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
And I always say to them, keep breathing. Keep breathing. Okay, if you're going to keep playing, you got to keep breathing. And I always have them come down back to their breath, come back to the breath. And while you're playing, you can actually stay alive. You know, you're
right.
Because if you don't give the breath to your brain, right, you're going to get confused, and then the synapses are not going to work, and then the muscle memory is not going to work, and then you're going to get frustrated, and then you're going to beat yourself up for not being a good enough handpan player. And that is like sabotage.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. I frequently say that during my classes. I think we'll be playing and I can just look at the class and you can see that half of them aren't breathing.
Yeah.
So I will stop and I'll be like, don't forget to breathe. Breathe, in through the nose, out through the mouth. And the funny thing, too, that's not just a beginner problem. That's a problem I have as well. I mean, I find myself, when I start concentrating, I stop breathing as well. So I have to tell myself, Dave, don't forget to breathe. Don't forget to breathe. So that's really important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have another comment. Diva is talking to
comment.
Us. Doesn't it, or actually I'll add to the broadcast, doesn't seem like a person could make a bad note on a handpan. That's what she says.
Well, yeah, it's as far as that's concerned, there's a lot of notes on the handpan that are made to work well together. I think Kataka, what she's basically saying is sometimes people might not strike it in a perfect way where the sound doesn't emanate in like the perfect way, and so they get frustrated with the sound that they're creating. But hey, Kataka,
I think she's, yeah.
Well, I was just gonna say, part of your sound healing, I remember the word Reiki was thrown in there. Sorry, I'm kind of changing things up a little bit here. And I've heard of people that teach Reiki. It's spelled R-E-I-K-I. Is that correct?
Correct.
Yeah. So can you explain what Reiki is? I think you called yourself a Reiki sound healer, right?
Yeah. I've been doing Reiki for over 35 years, and Reiki is simply, in English terms, the word Reiki means life force energy or light.
Oh.
Okay. And it's just it's a Japanese, I mean, it's basically Reiki is gosh, where do I start? I won't go deep into the history, but I'll just say that the concept of healing and intention and positive energy has been around for millennia. Okay. And basically 200 years ago, somebody in Japan came up with a modality, and they called that modality Reiki. And Reiki means universal light, like I said, or universal healing or universal energy. And all it is an intention to send positive energy into or around somebody so that they can relax and heal. That's really all Reiki is. And like I said, there's a modality around it, and there are levels of it so that you learn how to do Reiki in certain ways. But basically what I came up with is integrating that positive energy, or, I mean, Reiki could even be like a positive prayer, quite frankly. It's just an intention of positivity. So I actually came up with Reiki and sound healing because we've got the frequency coming from the handpans, and I've just integrated them together. And so when I play the instrument, I intend that Reiki positive energy is going through the frequency, going through the sound, dropping into your ear and coming down your spine and filling up your body and giving you a relaxing healing. That's really it. I mean, like I said, there are other things with Reiki that go deeper with how to do healings on, people, and how to do healings on pets, and but what I'm basically doing is something called distance Reiki, which is I'm intending for the instrument to be kind of like a when people hear it, they will get a healing when they hear the instrument.
Wonderful. Okay. So I was wondering, Daniel, could you open up the screen so we could see Kataka's handpans that she has around her. Maybe she could just kind of describe the handpans and maybe a little bit of the differences. I don't know. Just give us like 5 minutes of just explaining your instruments that you have in front of you there.
Yeah, sure. So the one I have in my lap right now, this is actually a Russian Rav Vast. And what it is basically is it is a handpan, but it's all long drum. Slightly different than the traditional handpans that we know, because it actually, all the notes have been cut out with kind of a laser cutter. So I'm going to play that just for a second, and you can hear that it actually, it's very unique sounding because it actually resonates different because of the particular steel that they've used and the cut that they did with these. And it sounds really pretty. So it's a little heavier than a traditional handpan, but it's really great sounding. So this one I have is let's see, what is this? This is a D Celtic minor. Okay, and I got this particular handpan with this particular key and scale because I wanted it to basically sound nice with my other two handpans. Okay, let me get the other one that I have up here. This is my very first handpan, and you know, this is kind of like my first baby, so to speak. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
yeah,
this
absolutely.
one, as you can see, like other handpans, it's got the tone fields, and these have been hammered by hand, and then, you know, they polished it up and they put it together. But this one sounds nice too. And this is actually a very famous scale. It's called the Hejaz scale. So people really this particular type of one, and I'll play the whole scale so that you can hear. It's very Arabic sounding. So here we go. So the other cool thing about this particular handpan, and I can't do this on the Rav because the Rav doesn't have a hole, or what we call the goo. This is the goo.
Yeah.
And then this tip right here is the ding. But the goo is really cool because you can actually make it sound like another drum. So I'll show you how that sounds. And it actually almost sounds a little bit like what is called an udu, which is another type of a clay pot drum. So there's that. So this is, this instrument actually was, let's see, I think this one was built probably in, I'm going to say 2006, I think. So, and then I've got a second generation hang. And, you know, you really don't have to know all of this, like, oh, first generation, second generation, integral hang. That's just the names that the hand art company gave. You know, it's a little confusing, and it's actually irrelevant at this point because so many new handpan manufacturers, fabricators have their own versions now. But this one sounds a little lower. It's actually... this one is older than this one, the one I have in my lap, even though this one looks older. And this one has like kind of a brass lip around it, whereas this other one doesn't. But this is another hang, and let's sounds. So this one,
I like
they're
that
all
one.
enharmonic with each other. Yeah, people really love this one. And, you know, actually, strangely, if you really want to get technical, the steel on this is different than the steel on my original one. And this one is actually a little harder to play. The steel seems to be a little harder. So most of the time, if I'm letting someone play one, I'll let them play this one because it's just easier for some reason to manipulate.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we've got the goo on this side too, right? It sounds a little different. And yeah, they're both, all three of them that I have are enharmonic with each other. They all kind of sing really well with each other. So that's that.
Nice.
With those.
Yeah. So I kind of want to move on because I want you to be able to guide us through a little bit of a sound healing ceremony that you might do with somebody. But before that, I want to do a little shout out for you. The shout out would be, you do have your own YouTube channel and you do have an email address if they want to contact you, right? So I think it's wehealuniversity.com, right?
Yes.
So I think it's Kataka at wehealuniversity.com if they want to contact you or go to your website. And then what is the name of your YouTube channel?
If they go to just my first and last name, it's actually, I have two channels. I have youtube.com/Kataka Gara, and then I have youtube.com/wehealuniversity. So if they type in, let's say they're like, oh my God, her name is too hard for me. Just type in sound healing show. Sound healing show will bring up my actual show with my handpans. Or you can type in Kataka hangs, Kataka handpan. It'll come up. I'm the only Kataka that plays the darn handpans, right? So
right. You're lucky with a unique name. My name is David. It's not as easy with David.
Oh, well, you know.
Cool.
Dave, I always call you Dave Island.
Right, exactly. Dave Island. That's good. So I don't know, Daniel, are there any other comments out there? If anybody has a comment that's watching before we get started with the lead us through Kataka and just kind of talk me through how you would do this with somebody that would be right in front of you.
Just one person from Victoria says hi, and that's it. From
hi,
Royal
Victoria.
Oak, Michigan. She's our handpan, and she likes ukulele also.
Great. Thank you.
We played one of her videos for the anniversary.
Right. Yeah. Very cool. I'm glad she's with us again.
Nice.
That's great. All right.
Yeah. So Kataka, go ahead.
Dave, you want me to walk you through an actual sound healing?
Yeah, like, you know, it wouldn't have to be the 30-minute version. It could be like the truncated, smaller version. But, you know, basically give us the basics. Because really what I'm trying to provide is information for other people out there that have handpans, how they can incorporate it into their own lives or their own practice and kind of give them some ideas of how it works and how you do it with your practice. So I think it'd be great if you just kind of gave us a little guidance there.
Awesome. Okay. Well, it's you know, there are a lot of different types of healers in the world, obviously. And like I said, my specialty is combining that Reiki and the sound healing. So when somebody comes to me for a healing or they want to learn how to integrate their healing abilities with a handpan, basically, you know, of course, I'll teach them how to do that. But let's say, for example, that somebody comes to me and they're an actual client. All right. And by the way, what I also teach with We Heal University is not only how to become a Reiki master, not only how to become a sound healer, but I also teach how to actually develop an authentic business for the healer, because many healers have a very hard time. You know, how do you become a legitimate, you know, business person? How do you actually charge? What do you charge for something like this? You know what I mean? And so I teach all of that on how to actually literally start your own small business as a Reiki master sound healer. So let's say, Dave, you, for example, came to me and you wanted to get sound healing and you wanted to get Reiki sound healing. What I would do is I would actually have you come and lay down on a massage table. This is not a massage, so obviously you would keep your clothing on. Usually, you know, massages, people have they strip down, but you would keep your clothing on. You'd take your shoes off. You'd lay on your back, and then I usually put a blanket or a towel over the belly area, which is the second and third chakra. Okay, that's where the second and third chakra is. And that's kind of where we receive our emotions and our healing. And then I will literally lay the instrument on the body and, have you take a deep breath, have you close your eyes, and then I will go right into playing the instrument. You'll feel the vibration on your body and emanating through your body. And then I'll do a guided meditation based on whatever issue you are wanting to work on. And if there's no issue, then, I'll just do a guided meditation. Normally what people feel is a very relaxed sense of security. They feel, and then sometimes, most of the time, people kind of either kind of go into lucid sleep, a little bit of light sleeping, or sometimes they kind of go out of their body. Sometimes people knock all the way out, and they're like, oh my gosh, I didn't hear anything, but but I felt good,
Quick question.
And it
quick
just kind of
on that, Kataka. Jackie Beery, the boss, is asking. Actually,
that's my wife. My wife is checking in, right?
Yeah.
Diva, which is Diana Card, also, she's one of our awesome clients. But they were asking, are you local and are you doing in-person classes, or is this all online? So,
great question. I'm local for people that live in Los Angeles. I live in Los Angeles, probably about, I'm going to say 30 minutes away from Lakewood. And I'm north from Lakewood, California. Okay. So I'm in Los Angeles, and I do have some. I have actually 4 studios here in LA, in different parts of LA, because LA is so spread out. I do have 4 different locations that I can do in-person sessions with. However, right now, because of the whole coronavirus challenge, I'm doing online and even on the phone healing sessions. As for my teachings, I actually have a via video and Zoom already set up for Reiki. So if that helps. And, anybody can contact me and I can talk to them if, no matter where they live, doesn't matter. I have students literally all over the world.
Cool.
Right.
Another question, and it's Victoria. Have you ever tried a warm blanket on the ABD for vasodilation and increased absorption? That's above my head and my pay grade, but I'm not sure.
The ABD. I don't know what ABD is.
ABD is.
No, I have not tried that. And I've got to say that I probably would not try that, only because I am definitely not any type of like doctor or nurse or anything like that. And increased blood flow is great. And that usually happens when people actually relax. The only thing I do in terms of like blankets is if somebody's cold, quite frankly, I'll put a blanket on them. But I don't do any type of increased blood flow or any type of body manipulation in a way that would actually create a response like that. Although, like I said, the guided meditation and playing the handpan creates a response in the body that is definitely more relaxing.
ABD was abdomen, or short for abdomen.
Oh, abdomen. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I've not really done any type of warm blanket or anything like that. Although it sounds awesome.
She says thank you, though. That was, I believe you answered her question.
Cool. So, would you like to play for us a little bit?
Yeah, let's do it. I'll do a little bit of a guided meditation, and Dave, I'll keep you in mind, and we'll act as if you're the one getting the healing, and then anybody else who wants to actually lay down or sit down in a comfortable chair can also take this healing.
Look what I have here. I can give it a try. My only challenge is I've got my little wires all over my body. So let me see what I can do here. I'm just going to try laying down a little bit, and you can just play, and I'll just enjoy.
Awesome.
Let's see if I can do this.
Awesome. Okay. Wonderful. And the other thing I want to mention to everybody who's listening is that because Reiki is a positive, kind of almost like an invisible, intentional energy, you're still going to get a healing just by listening to the sound and listening to my voice. So that's the invitation here for you. If you want to go ahead and relax, sit down or lay down if you're not laying down. The invitation here is to take that on. Everybody everybody, I want you to take a deep breath in. And I want you to feel, if you are sitting down, I want you to kind of feel your sit bones. Those are the bones near your, butt. And I just want you to go ahead and take a deep breath in and give and actually breathe out, and then another breath in. Breathe out through your mouth. And I just want you to open your ears and close your eyes. And allow for the possibility that you are going to get a positive healing from this sound healing and listening to my voice. So let's just be general about this. Anybody who has any challenges, whether it's physical, emotional, mental, or spiritual, let's set an intention in this short healing that we're going to bring relief. Whatever that is for you. So as you're hearing all these positive, wonderful sounds, I want you to imagine that this is going into your ears and down your spine and energetically filling up your body. As it's filling up your body, I want you to imagine that the energy is going to wherever it needs to go in your body. And if it's an emotional issue or challenge you might be having, or a mental challenge, or even a spiritual challenge, maybe a relationship challenge, I want you to imagine that this positive energy, you can envision it as a positive energy. You can envision it or see it or hear it or feel it. Just feel that going in wherever it needs to go, and feel as if it is patching up whatever the issue is, and just kind of washing it away. As it's washing it away, just imagine it going away out of your body, out of your life. Just kind of floating away on the ethers, floating away on the sound of the frequency of the music, and away from your body. And as it goes away from your body, I want you to imagine that this very same positive sound is going and healing that area. Like I said, whatever it is in your life. So the sound is kind of doing double duty, okay? So it's releasing that which is no longer serving. And then it's also healing and patching up the area that maybe needs to be loved and healed and appreciated, whatever that is. And then what you can do with this beautiful positive sound is you can envision a new way of being, a new life, a new circumstance that you might have based on releasing anything that you wanted to release, any blockages. I want you to just imagine for a moment what your life would look like now that place, now that block is gone, or that old story or that old circumstance. And then what you want to do is remember this and practice it in your mind. Keep thinking about it. That's how we retrain our mind and retrain our brains, just by practice and thinking about it. And so you can imagine remembering how this music sounds. And every time you hear this sound healing, you can actually imagine that it's helping take away any pain, take away any discomfort, take away anything that is no longer serving you, like I said. Now, what I'd like you to do is feel yourself coming back to the room. Feel yourself coming back into your body. And just remember this music for kind of a daily practice if you want, almost a daily meditation. And whenever you're having any challenges or distress, or the situation comes up, if it does come up again, you can actually remember this music and set an intention that it'll always heal you anytime you need it. And come on back to the room. Namaste.
Oh, that was awesome. That was really fun.
Awesome.
I absolutely enjoyed that. No,
I'm so glad.
You know, it's interesting because, like I say, I make these instruments and I enjoy these instruments. But the aspect of really that you're providing to me today was the guided aspect of the intentions and the guided aspect of understanding how the healing works. Because I never really experienced that the way you did it just then. And if I wasn't half here and half there, like if I was able to fully relax, because here I am live on YouTube, I fully relax. But I could see how that could be very impactful and powerful in my life. When you were talking about finding the problems in your life, or the relationship, or whatever it was, the pain here or there. I've actually had some pain in my shoulder recently, and it's been like bumming me out. And I realized, I just need to give some positive intention there and positive energy. And I think that would absolutely really help. I really loved the way you guided us through that. I thought that was fabulous.
That was awesome.
And you know, Dave, it's also, I would say it's a, you know, it really is a practice, you know. I mean, we don't want to be focusing on, like, for you, for example, ow, my shoulder hurts, but breathing in and saying, okay, how can I, you know, release the tension in the arm, in the shoulder? How can I relax? And, you know, and really we can literally do that with anything. It eases anxiety. It eases distress. You know, even, you know, calms people down. I mean, we humans are so sensitive to that, and we really need to do that on a regular basis.
Kataka, this is Daniel. Awesome sound healing. Jackie has a question, and I'm going to add it to the broadcast. And are there certain conditions that respond really well to sound healing? What are the typical complaints of your clients?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, as I mentioned in the healing, I mean, you know, some people have physical issues, emotional, mental, or spiritual. And I actually have an acronym for that. It's PEMS, not PMS, but PEMS, and physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. And basically, those are really pretty much the only issues, generally speaking, that humans have. Okay. And so a lot of the time people will come to me because, well, like I said, I've done healings on people, with cancer, with kidney disease. I've done healing on people with broken hearts. I've done, healing on all types of different ailments. So I wouldn't say, I get one type all the time, but I get all types all the time, right? So to answer your question, most of the time people are coming because they want an experience that will kind of, I'm going to say, knock them out of the old habit. And, I don't know. I think that somebody having a handpan put on them is very unique and different. And it's not the same as like, just, okay, let me, put my hands on you for Reiki, or let me have you meditate, or let me have you hold a crystal, or whatever it is that people, do in terms of healing. It's a very unique situation because we actually go into the specific issue that the person has. And the intention is to help them in their subconscious, first off, relax, like I said. And then second off, have them go into their subconscious and release, vibrationally, through the sound, that issue, whatever it is. Now, of course, there's no guarantee, right, that it's going to, magically disappear. But what it is going to do is it's going to help the person that's having the issue come to a relaxed place and be able to actually maybe think about it on a level that they might not have been able to. I mean, we all know that all we need to do about, our problems is to ask ourselves, what is the problem? What do I need to do about it? What can I do about it? And forget about the how, but really like, okay, I have this issue. What am I going to take action or not take action around it? And the brain is so incredible that the brain will give you an answer. So if we drop the conscious chatter that we normally have and allow the subconscious to actually, reveal information to us while we're relaxing, while that chattering brain gets distracted by the pretty music, more than likely, you will actually get an answer to whatever challenge or issue you have. And then it's up to you in your conscious brain to take the appropriate action. A lot of people don't, quite frankly, just don't even take the right action, and they know what they need to do. Most people know what they need to do, but they're afraid, or, things come up, or they use excuses, and that's not to, make people bad, but, it's around really, bringing that subconscious up and coming to a place of confidence, healing, and relaxation, so that then they can take the right actions to eliminate that which they need to transform in their life, whatever that problem is. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I love awesome. That. That's a great explanation. Hey, I have a quick question. Also, a lot of people that buy handpans, they frequently wonder, like, how do I learn how to play, quote unquote, a song, or how do I learn how to play melodies? And so I particularly thought when you used your guided meditation just the way you did just then, along with the sound of the handpans, like you. One thing that I was in my brain that was kind of going around was, wow, I'm getting like a personal musical experience right now. And when you told us that you can remember this moment and remember the music that healed you, it really made it kind of profound, because it's original music. It's not something that you're playing on the radio that somebody's heard a million times. It was original music played by you, right, at the moment. So how do you develop those ideas, and how did you develop your system of playing? Maybe in brief, like how would you explain that?
All right, that's a great technical question, and I'll answer it in a couple different ways. Okay, so yes, basically the original music that I'm playing is specific for exact, you know, remember the actual sound, because it's specific for you in that moment. Okay, so that's one thing.
Yeah.
And then the other of it, the other part of it is that basically, you know, I have memorized the notes on, you know, on my instrument. So since I've memorized the notes on the instrument, I know which ones are going to sound well. The chords are. I tend to play with my middle finger and my thumb to make a chord, and then I also play with my thumb to, you know, to make an actual chord. Okay.
Yeah.
So I tend to play chords because to me it sounds prettier. It's just more potent to me. But basically, you know, the advice I would give to somebody who wants to actually write a song or create an actual song and put it on, you know, let's say an album or record it, is to do just that. Get your phone. And if you don't have a professional recording studio, like, I mean, I have a professional recording studio, so I record all this stuff and then that's it. But you can literally use your iPhone or your, you know, Samsung Android phone, and you can turn it on to, you know, we all have an audio recording mechanism in the phone, and just play. And this is what I do. Okay. So I'll turn my phone on if I only have my phone to record with, and I'll play something and I'll make a note. I'll make a verbal note. I will say out loud, "Ooh, I like that." You know, I like that actual chord that string of notes that I just played. And then I will go back and listen to that audio, and I will, you know, write it down. Now, I would say to you, don't make it too long, because if you have an hour-long recording on your phone, it's overwhelming. Like, do it for like 15 minutes, 10 minutes, so that then you can go back and review it. So that's the first thing I do when I'm writing a song. And then the second thing I do is, once I get those notes, I integrate them into my practice. And so I practice them every day, and I create a song and build a song around that. You know, many people don't know how to read, you know, music.
Right.
I know how to read music, but you don't need to learn how to, you don't need to know how to read music, you know, to play this instrument. You just need to know, you know, I would say maybe what the notes are, and then be able to reference them. In fact, when I first got this handpan, the original hang, I wanted to know the notes, so I took what is it, Scotch tape and a permanent pen, and I wrote the B, G, A, F. You know, I wrote them all around, you know, the handpan. So for a couple of years, I had these stupid pieces of tape on my instrument, and when people were like, "What?" Yeah. And that worked for me. Okay. That worked for me. I've taken them off since then because, you know, I don't need them, but yeah, that would be my suggestion, is use your phone, use the tools that you have now. And you know, it's very simple. It does not have to be complicated. You don't have to have a massive, big, you know, $1 trillion music studio like all of these famous people. You can use what is in arm's reach.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you know what? I think I want to wrap it up. But before we wrap it up, I want to once again give you a little shout out. You've got the WeHealUniversity.com website. If you want to contact Kataka, she's Kataka. Her email is kataka@WeHealUniversity.com. She's got a YouTube channel, which you can just search her name because her name is so unique. You just look up Kataka. What was it? Kataka Gara Healing or Kataka Gara?
Yeah, just Kataka Gara.
Okay, Kataka Gara show. Sound Healing Show. And then I also wanted to point out that I got your CD. Kataka has a CD recording. She might have multiple recordings. I don't know, but I listened to one that was absolutely fabulous, and she did a great job on it. So if you want to pick that up as well, contact her and grab that CD. or download it, however you can access it, and give Kataka a little bit of love there with the representation of getting that CD.
Thank you.
You could do all of
those
Dave,
things. I actually I was going to say they can literally buy, or they can go on Spotify, they can listen to me on Pandora. I've everything, every place you can buy a CD or music, whether it's, iTunes or even Amazon, even Napster. My music is all over, and you can buy it or listen to it or stream it. And I'm also on Facebook. I have a Facebook page. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram as We Heal University. But yeah, you can find me on just about any. I'm even on as Kataka Gara, and I have a couple of things on there. It's really funny.
Absolutely, you gotta cover all the bases.
Yeah.
Well, Kataka, it was a wonderful talking with you today. Thank you so much for providing the music and the information for us today.
I had so much fun. Thank you so much, and I really look forward to connecting with all of your fans and anybody that has any questions. Thanks so much, Dave.
You're welcome. Hey, do you want to enter the child's mind with me for a little bit and explore just some D minor sounds while Daniel cuts to black?
Yeah, we'll go for a minute. And
I love it. I'm gonna grab my other instrument, my other other hand, the actual hang. And thank you to Daniel and your entire team. They've been so, Carrie, everybody else, you've got a great team, and they've been really, really helpful with creating this show. So thank you for all of them too.
Awesome. Okay. Let's
play. You guys
play.
are awesome.
Thank you.